Let's get to the Iran situation, if I can call it that. President Trump taking a very hard line with the Iranians. Remember that all-caps tweet, "Don't ever threaten America"? Joining us now, David Rubin, expert on Mideast. David, let me raise what might be a red herring right from the start. How would you feel about the remote possibility of a President Trump meeting with the mullahs?
Well, I have no problem with that, Stuart. I have no problem with the president meeting with anybody. But I don't think we're going to have President Trump meeting with the Ayatollah Khamenei and holding hands or patting him on the back or, having any niceties with him. I don't think we're going to see that because this is a different breed than Kim. It's a different breed than Putin even.
Okay. Now, the president has taken a very hard line. Don't threaten us. Don't do that again or else. Do you think that hard line works? I think, look, in my opinion, it does, because the Iranians have a terrible economy and they're facing a revolt from their own people. So I think the Trump hard line will work. But what say you?
Well, you have to remember, President Trump comes from the outer boroughs of New York City. He comes from Queens. And I don't know if you know this, Stuart, but 26 years ago, I moved to Israel, but I grew up in the streets of Brooklyn. And I know from the Brooklyn schoolyards that if somebody threatens you, you better threaten them back and threaten them 3 times as bad. Because this is what we call Brooklyn schoolyard psychology. And that's what Trump knows how to use brilliantly. And he did it with Kim. With Kim, it worked. It softened him up. And we see that there's progress. They're already destroying some nuclear installations. But with the Ayatollah, it's going to be a little bit harder. But I think it's important to show him who's the boss, to show him that we're stronger than they are, that the United States is stronger than Iran, and that he better be careful and he better watch out.
Do you think there's a possibility here that the mullahs will be overthrown by their own people? Is that possible?
It's more than possible. It's happening gradually. Just looking back about 6 months, there were serious revolts in several cities of Iran, and then there was a big crackdown. But then it started to pick up again, and recently there've been protests in quite a few Iranian cities. There's a media shutdown, so you're not hearing that much about it, but it is happening, and it's been quietly encouraged through the media, through social media, and some world leaders such as President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are involved in that, but it's mostly coming from the people, and we have to remember that the Iranian people have been suffering under this extreme radical Muslim regime that is only talking about jihad. They're not talking about putting food on the table. They're not talking about giving the children education. They're not talking about fixing broken roads in the street. They're talking only about jihad, holy war against what they call the infidels, and that's what the Ayatollah Khomeini, the founder of the Islamic Revolution, always spoke about: exporting the Islamic Revolution. And they're still doing it today. They're still trying to. But the people may not go for that.
That's very interesting, David. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Rubin, you can come along anytime you like,
You're welcome.
sir. See you again soon. Thank you.
My pleasure.